Baltimore Ravens fans just received a major update on Lamar Jackson's future. ZREBIEC, one of the most respected reporters covering the team, revealed new information about the quarterback's contract situation. And the most interesting part is that these details point toward a scenario that looks very different from what many fans expected a few months ago. If you believe a new extension is right around the corner or that Lamar's future is already decided, you may want to wait before making any assumptions. The latest information coming from inside the organization is raising a possibility that could completely change the way many people view this negotiation. And in the next few minutes, you'll understand why Lamar Jackson's contract remains one of the biggest topics surrounding the Ravens. Jeff ZREBIEC just brought new information about Lamar Jackson's contract situation, and I have to admit, it changed the way I was looking at the situation. Over the last few months, many fans started getting concerned because there were no major updates about a possible extension between Lamar and the Ravens. And when we're talking about a quarterback at this level, any extended silence naturally creates speculation. But ZREBIEC made one important point clear. According to him, the lack of information should not be viewed as a sign that negotiations are going badly. The reporter explained that Lamar's inner circle almost never leaks details to the media, while the Ravens also handle matters involving their franchise quarterback with complete discretion. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense. If neither side usually talks about what happens behind closed doors, it becomes very difficult to use silence as proof that there is a problem. Another detail that caught my attention was the fact that there appears to be an understanding between Lamar and the organization about when these conversations should happen. ZREBIEC also reported that Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti has made it very clear to Lamar that the organization wants to keep him in Baltimore. In my opinion, this is a huge detail in this situation because it shows that the discussion is not about a possible breakup between the player and the team. The real question is when they will seriously discuss a new deal. And this is the part that really caught my attention. ZREBIEC believes it would not be surprising if a new extension ends up being pushed back until 2027. When I first saw that possibility, I thought, okay, this is a very different scenario from what many fans expected a few months ago. The reasons behind this possibility make the situation even more interesting. After Jeff ZREBIEC's report, another major NFL insider started supporting the same possibility. Ian Rappaport from NFL Network had already suggested months ago that he did not expect an immediate extension between Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. More recently, he repeated that assessment, and this matters because we are not talking about a random opinion. Two highly respected reporters with strong connections around the league are pointing toward the possibility that a new contract may still be far away from being finalized. One of the reasons involves a decision the Ravens made earlier this year. In March, the franchise completed a maximum restructure of Lamar's current contract. The goal was to create salary cap space and give the team more flexibility to continue improving the roster and making off-season moves. This type of move is common in the NFL, but it can affect the timeline of future negotiations. Many teams prefer to handle one major contract decision at a time instead of restructuring a deal and then immediately starting another massive negotiation with the same player. There's also Lamar's own situation to consider. Unlike players who are under pressure to secure their financial future, he is already protected by an extremely valuable contract. In 2026 alone, the quarterback is expected to earn more than $50 million. In reality, he does not need to rush into signing anything right now. The stronger his financial security becomes, the more freedom he has to choose the best possible moment to negotiate. In my opinion, this changes the way we should look at the entire situation. For months, many fans saw the lack of an extension as a possible sign that something was wrong between Lamar and the Ravens. The latest information suggests a different perspective. Maybe nobody is behind schedule. Maybe nobody is worried. Maybe Lamar and Baltimore simply believe there is a better time to sit down and discuss a new agreement. And Lamar's most recent season could play a major role in that decision. There is one part of the situation that, in my opinion, deserves much more attention. According to Ian Rappaport, Lamar Jackson's 2025 season could also be affecting the timing of these negotiations. Lamar remains one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL, But his latest year did not feature the same level of dominance we saw during some of the best moments of his career. Injuries affected parts of the season, and his level of play was below the expectations created by a player who has already won 2 MVP awards. But it is important to put this into perspective. We are talking about incredibly high standards. Many quarterbacks around the league would love to put up numbers that would be considered disappointing for Lamar Jackson. The challenge for players at his level is that they are constantly compared to their own best performances. That is why I can understand the logic behind waiting. If Lamar believes he can deliver a stronger season in 2026, the entire negotiation could change. A great campaign, a deep playoff run, or even another MVP-level season could increase his market value even more. Very few players have the ability to dramatically improve their position in contract talks simply by what they do on the field. That is why I do not see the situation as something negative for Lamar. There is a strong argument that waiting could actually be the smartest strategy. He remains the face of the franchise. He is already earning massive money, and he still has the opportunity to strengthen his position before discussing his next contract. But there is one massive financial factor hanging over the situation that the Ravens will eventually have to address. Even without an immediate extension, one number remains the center of every discussion about Lamar Jackson's future. After the contract moves made by Baltimore, the quarterback, if projected to carry a salary cap, hit a more than $84 million in 2027. That is an enormous number, one that could impact almost every financial decision the franchise makes in the coming years. Numbers like that force important conversations. No team wants to enter a season carrying such a massive amount for one player without exploring every possible option. That is why many people around the NFL believe Baltimore will eventually have to make a decision before reaching that point. A new extension remains the most obvious solution, but it is not the only path available. Technically, the Ravens could explore other options. The report mentions that a trade or even releasing Lamar could create some level of salary cap relief, although those moves would also come with extremely painful financial consequences. In some scenarios, Baltimore would have to absorb tens of millions of dollars in dead money. That helps explain why these possibilities exist more as theoretical options than realistic plans for the future of the franchise. Being honest, I have a very hard time imagining Baltimore choosing that route. We are talking about a quarterback who changed the direction of this franchise, transformed the offense, and remains one of the most dangerous players in all football. For a separation to become a realistic possibility, something would have to change dramatically over the next few years. And that is the biggest question surrounding the situation right now.
If you're enjoying this breakdown, smash that like button to help the purple flock grow.
Whenever a superstar takes longer than expected to sign a contract extension, people immediately start predicting a possible departure. Lamar Jackson has faced the same situation. The problem is that many of those predictions are moving faster than the actual information available. What ZREBIEC reported does not point toward an imminent breakup. Instead, it suggests a much less dramatic situation than some headlines are making it seem. ZREBIEC made it clear that the Ravens continue to view Lamar as the centerpiece of the franchise. There are also no reports of major conflicts, public disagreements, or signs of serious damage in the relationship between the quarterback and the organization. The situation described by people close to the team looks nothing like a negotiation heading toward a separation. That does not mean an extension is guaranteed. The NFL changes quickly. Injuries, disappointing results, coaching changes, and countless other factors can completely change the direction of negotiation. Football is full of examples of players who once seemed untouchable, but eventually moved on from their teams. No future can be considered permanent. Still, the most balanced view right now is pretty clear. The discussion is not about whether Lamar will remain in Baltimore immediately. The focus is on when a new agreement will happen. The information from ZREBIEC reinforces that there is no clear sign of a breakup between the two sides. Right now, the most realistic scenario does not point toward Lamar leaving the Ravens, but toward a longer wait than many fans expected. If that assessment is correct, this contract situation still has important developments ahead. Lamar Jackson remains the most important player on the Baltimore Ravens, and the information revealed by ZREBIEC shows that the quarterback's contract situation may be more complicated than many people expected. The Ravens want to keep Lamar as the face of the franchise. The quarterback has already shown interest in staying in Baltimore, but the timing of a new extension may be different from what many fans were expecting. The possibility of a new deal happening in 2027 has gained attention because of several factors: the restructure of his current contract, the amount of money Lamar is set to earn, the salary cap impact, and the possibility of a stronger 2026 season could all influence this decision. Right now, there are no signs of separation between the player and the team, but there is a major decision ahead that could shape the future of the franchise. This situation shows how major NFL contracts involve much more than simply wanting to stay together. Performance on the field, financial planning, and timing can determine Lamar Jackson's next big deal with Baltimore. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Lamar should wait until 2027 to sign a new extension, or should the Ravens try to get this deal done sooner? Leave your comment below.
And if you're a true Ravens fan and love keeping up with everything happening around the team, don't leave this video without sharing it with a friend who's just as passionate. They're definitely going to enjoy this. See those videos on your screen right now? I picked the first one especially for you, and the other is recommended by YouTube. Go check them out, and I'll see you in the next video.